In this final video of the AutoCAD video course, we're going to see how we can export from AutoCAD using different formats and to continue our work in other software in 2D and in graphic design if you want to use, for example, Photoshop or GIMP. In this case, you are looking at GIMP. But also if we want to continue in software, in a 3D software when we want to create a 3D from our 2D drawings, and also how we can continue in BIM software like Revit if we want to continue to project and define our facility management in Revit. So we're gonna do some examples here, and this one was the drawing that we exported in the previous video from the AutoCAD project to GIMP. Now GIMP is an open source software that you can use. It's similar to Photoshop, but it's open source, so it's completely free basically. Now you can do many things here. For example, if you want to switch the graphic from this paper view with the white background, if you want to make it, for example, black background on white drawing, kind of like the blueprint in AutoCAD, you can do things like that. So for example, if I go here to select, now this is in Italian, but this is just gonna be an example to show you how you can work in a graphic design application. So I can select by color here. So if I select, for example, all the white parts of my paper and I'm gonna hit the delete key, now everything is gonna be deleted, everything that's white, so it's gonna leave me with the black parts. So I can also deselect now like that, and I can place a different background. So if I go here and create a new layer, and I will then apply to this new layer a color, so or a dark background. So let's see, like this one. Okay, now increase the opacity of the fill. There you go. I don't know if that's 100%. So now I can use this as a blueprint, but I also need to switch the black, and I need to turn it white. So what I do is again select a color. For example, this is gonna be black. Now all the blacks are selected, and I can go here and to colors and do invert. So well, let me deselect again. There you go. So this is kind of the blueprint that we have in AutoCAD. And again, this is just a simple example of how you can turn everything in another fashion using the graphic design applications. So you can do really anything here. You can start to paint the different rooms right here. Sorry, let's change tool. So I'm gonna use this one here. I can start to paint the various rooms. I can start to paint the walls here, and so on. So you can really have fun with this and similar application. So this is about the 2D part. Now we exported in PDF, and I opened up this one in PDF, but we can also use another format which is called EPS, and it's from Adobe. It's a little bit more advanced with a little more quality. Now let me show you how we can do that. I'm gonna close this up, and we are back here in AutoCAD. Now we can decide what we want to export. We saw that we can export a total sheet, a total layout here, or we can also decide if you want to export just a part of our drawing. So if I go to the print command here, or plot, I can decide what to plot. I want to plot a single sheet, and we're gonna select what we want. So I'm gonna use the window and I want to export or plot only this. Okay, now make sure that's landscape. So I'm not going to create a layout here, I'm just going to use the standard. Now when you want to use a particular setup, you can go here and choose one of these, as we already saw. Now each one of these has a different outcome, and you can see here that you can plot to file or not, depend on what you select here. Now since this is PDF, it's always going to be plot to file. Otherwise you could find a printer here or a plotter if it is connected to your computer. So when you select a format and a printer or plotter, you can also preview. So this is what we're gonna print out. Let's go outside. So uncheck that. Now make sure always that you are in a scale, in a precise scale. So in this case, I want to be 1 to 100. So it's gonna be 1 to 100 scale here, and not fit to paper. Otherwise, it's gonna scale it automatically. And now some parts could be cut out because you don't have enough space, and there's always margins around the paper. So again, this depends on the printer that you are using basically. So now let's proceed, and we want to add more plotter and more printers, and we're gonna just add it in a virtual manner. We don't have an actual printer, so I'm gonna close this up, and I'm going to go again here to the application menu in the printing part, and you can click in the manage plotters. So if you click here, you can manage the plotters that you have at your disposal. You can also import it, you can copy and paste it. These are just files, and these are the presets that you see when you need to print something. So to add another one, you can click here to add a plotter wizard, and this is going to run you through plotter configuration, whether it's a actual plotter or it's virtual. So if we go forward, we can see here we have Adobe, and we can select PostScript level 1+. This is gonna help us to create an APS, which is a more advanced format to export and then work in Adobe, and it's not gonna have the background, so you can just have the drawings and you don't need to get rid of the background, just as we saw before with GIMP. So everything will be easier and with more quality if you do this process. Okay, now just go forward, just give a name here. I'm gonna call it APS or EPS, and finish. Okay, and that's our new plotter right there. So I'm gonna close this window. Again, I'm gonna go to print out this sheet here. Again, now we're gonna select the printer that we just created, which is this one here, EPS, and let's preview what's happening. Well, you can see we need to set this up again, so I'm gonna use window, and only I'm gonna select from here or to here, and landscape. Again, check the scale, 1 to 100, and okay, plot to file. This is important because we want to plot in an EPS, and let's preview again just to make sure that everything is working fine. Okay, there's missing here a couple of lines, but again, this is just a little bit too big to fit inside this standard A4 paper. But also we can use other formats here. You can see A1, A2, A4, and so on. So you can use a lot of different formats if you use the PostScript level 1+. Okay, now we're ready, so we can say okay, continue,